Welcome to NFL World, where info starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And to begin, let's start with the Dolphins. The Dolphins made some moves as cap casualty moves. You have to get under $255 million to be cap compliant by March 13th. They made their moves. Now, Xavier Howard and Emmanuel Agba are both cap casualties. They're cut. This has happened. Howard is a good player, and so is Agba. They were not the reasons you guys did not win the playoffs. But it needed to happen. They made the moves, and now the cap casualties are in for the Dolphins. Could be more on the way, but at the moment, Howard and Agba are gone. Next up is Andy Reid potentially becoming the highest paid coach in the NFL. Yes, the deal is trying to be worked out by the Kansas City Chiefs on making Andy Reid the highest paid coach. Let's see what happens. But Reid has won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, been to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. You have to say, okay, he deserves this. And especially if we want him to stay on and not just mow retirement every year. Morning to you, Daniel. Even though it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But good morning to you. The next thing on that would be if Reid decides I don't want to coach much longer, who is the replacement? Those are another questions that have to be asked. But until then, they're trying to make Andy Reid the highest paid head coach in the NFL. And the final couple things are T. Higgins. See, this will be relatively short. T. Higgins was franchise tagged. They told T. Higgins, hey, we're franchise tagging you. You can get $21 million for a year. Instead of us paying you, or we have the option to pay you now until July 16th, if I remember correctly, is the date. So it just the faster you put it on the tag, the more time you have to work a contract out. But that's a great move by the Bengals to do it. They were the first team to strike with a franchise tag. And there are like nuances to it. If you tag someone early, it could mean you're interested in trading them, could mean I just want to get a deal done, but we can't get it done at the moment. So we're just tagging you for now. All right, a few upcoming notes. Let's start here. Longtime NFL columnist Peter King announces that he's going to retire at age 66. He announced his decision on Monday after 44 years as a sports writer. The piece that King wrote was to be a long-termer is in an increasingly short-term business. To write a column for 27 years, to be a sports writer for 44, that's something I'll always be grateful for. Truly, I loved it all. I'm retiring. I use an asterisk because I truly don't know what the future holds for me. I probably will work at something, but as I write this, I have no idea what that will be. King is stepping down, a variety of reasons explained. He's going tired by the day by day. of covering the league, which he's done for years. He knows he can't change the long-term format, and he wants to spend more time with his family, which is what we all want to do when we get to that age. The three-time National Sports Writer of the Year winner, worked for Newsday, worked for the Cincinnati Enquirer before making a decades-long run to Sports Illustrated, a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter who has also appeared on Football Morning in America and also Football Night in America in his illustrious career. So congratulations to Peter King on a retirement. I'll say this, in a league as a sports writer where you really don't retire, it's that often. You don't see this very often. But Peter King is retiring from being a sports writer. And let me make sure I have everything here, because I do have one more thing I want to discuss, some happy news. But before we get into it, I want to make sure I have everything. Okay, yeah, two more things before we get into that. Number one, the Superdome to undergo renovations ahead of its hosting of the Super Bowl 59. It will undergo renovations. It's due. It's been since, I believe, Katrina, since the last time they did renovate. When they renovated it. So that's one side of it. Former Eagles defensive coordinator Sean Desai has found a new home with the LA Rams. He is a senior assistant, I believe is what the term they used, or a senior advisor. Basically, them deciding that he needs to be, according to ESPN, the 40-year-old coach was let go after the Eagles finished 30th in the NFL in points allowed, but finished overall on 10th with fewest rushing yards and fewest rushing touchdowns. Desai spent 6 seasons with the Bears as a quality control coach, 2 years as the team's 2 years as a quality control coach with the Bears. 6 seasons with the Bears as a quality control coach, 2 seasons with the team as a safeties coach and a defensive coordinator in 2021. That particular season, the Bears' defense was third in passing yards allowed. It goes on in saying Desai was an assistant with Jonathan Gannon. Excuse me, when he was a defensive assistant with the Seahawks and associate head coach prior to Jonathan Gannon leaving for the Arizona job. And finally, some good news out of the camp of Steve Mongo McMichael, as he has been released from the hospital after having to be in the hospital for over a week and a half. And when you have a disease like ALS, those things are magnitude. So good news for Steve McMichael and his family as he continues to fight through his ALS. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hewitt. Out.